You do know that's not a real bunny, right?
Yeah, but this is a garbage horror.
Oh, carry on.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Garbage Horror. And we have a very special episode for you guys. It is our first episode, actually. That's probably the most special episode.
I'd say so.
I'd say so, too. If we had, if we had a budget for confetti, we would have confetti, but we have no confetti budget. We have no budget whatsoever, which puts us very much in league with the movies we are reviewing. So
this is very true.
Very true. So congratulations to us for actually recording an episode. But since we don't have confetti, we have to bring you a timeless tale. It's a tale about a Playboy bunny, a stuffed bunny, and a killer bunny, all in the same movie.
That's a lot of bunnies.
That's a lot of bunnies. They were obviously doing what bunnies do in this movie.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's good. But we won't go. I don't want to have that vision in my head of this review. We are bringing you the tale of Kottentail. In this movie, a genetically experiment of a bunny gets out of the lab through a series of improbable events and attacks a mild-mannered but somewhat daft farmer named Hans. Hans in turn mutates into the evil, murdering, bunny-like human hybrid thingy named Kottentail and goes off and kills a bunch of people that happened to be at the hotel they were shooting this thing at.
Or just the film crew.
Just the film crew, basically speaking. But yes, indeed, we have our first budget horror film for this review, and start at the beginning, I guess. The very first shot, the very first thing you see.
Oh, they go into this science laboratory. And the thing about it is there's the Playboy bunny that's, there.
She's playing a scientist,
She's playing a scientist, which, it's interesting. But she goes to this cage, and inside the cage is the most generic Easter stuffed bunny you have seen. Yes, a stuffed bunny.
Which is really funny that they put in the cage like the stuffed bunny was going to get out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's bad because whenever she's in her, the evil scientist that's
the
actually
partner or the overlord or dude, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the one that's altering the carrots that they're feeding to the fake bunny. Yeah, this is going swimmingly already. I
can't believe we're reviewing this movie. Okay, let's just keep going.
But as he prods it with an electric prod, you can actually see the wire that they use to make the bunny jump around the cage.
And they have it happen again because she pulls out an even more fake stuffed bunny.
Yes.
And the more realistic stuffed bunny that's supposed to be the actual character in the movie then proceeds to try to attack the fake bunny. And you see someone off camera yanking on the fishing wire to make it bounce around. It's a great way to begin any movie about a deadly bunny, I have to admit.
Yes, it is. If nothing else, the first 5 minutes of this movie are worth watching.
I definitely do not tune out the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're going to MST3K this, definitely don't tune out the first 5 minutes. It's pure gold. Yeah. But there were other characters in this film. There were other people in it. The story itself centers around sort of a lead 5 group of women, and each of them being theoretically nothing but a raging 2-word stereotype. You have the prostitute, you have the overbearing journalist, the overeager journalist, the frustrated cop, the naive scientist, the aforementioned Playboy bunny, and the grieving widow kind of character.
Yeah.
And so basically speaking, you got these lead 5 girls who all play some weird, bizarre role in Kottentail's existence, and they all converge.
And they're all kind of the heroes of the story. Yeah. They're supposed to be, anyway.
Yeah, and they kind of come together to figure out what's going on, and then launch through one of the dumbest plans ever concocted in history. Can't give too much away on that. We don't want to do spoilers, but they're one of the dumbest plans concocted in history to try to counterattack and stop Kottentail. But it was kind of, you spend most of the movie waiting for these characters to figure out what's going on.
Right, because we know fairly early on.
You know within the first 10 minutes, I mean, Hans Kottentail, the farmer, gets attacked very early.
And yes, that is his last name in the movie. That is his last name, yes, we should discuss that. He gets attacked, and this transformation begins pretty quickly. And so we know what's going on, but the characters in the movie don't. That's kind of a frustrating thing in the movie, is like,
it's the farmer, it's the farmer, it's the farmer. Oh, it's the farmer. Other characters in the movie, you had the two detectives.
Yes, which were pretty incompetent.
Incompetent, stereotypical jerkwad cops.
Yeah.
Not much to say about them. You've seen these types of characters in every horror movie. They treat the frustrated female cop, Yvonne, that was her name. They treat her like total dirt, and then you have Raoul, who's one of my favorite characters in the movie, oddly enough, because he is only in it for like 2 minutes, but
he's the security guard for the scientific laboratory. Yeah, he does a great job, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's really on the ball with this. Gets distracted by the prostitute character, and there's Lizzie is her name, and there's a beautiful interchange between those two you just can't miss. It ends with the line, "Raoul would like to see her boobs."
Yes. Just
a great line. And then you had the sorority sisters, 3 sorority sisters in it. Mm-hmm. The lead sorority sister, the redhead, played by Zoe Hunter, one of my all-time favorites in these budget films. She's done like a lot of these. Bachelor Party in the Bungalow of the Damned, one she did. A whole bunch of movies she did. Great actress in this. She's one of them. But these girls are completely unrealistic bitches. There's just no nice way to say that.
Well, it's not only that, but I mean, they are not age appropriate for the role. That's the nicest way I can put that.
Yeah. The strict one has got to be well beyond our age. Even she's got to be in her 40s, and it's pretty obvious that none of these girls are in college. They're in it, and they're basically Marissa, the widow I mentioned previously, is her name.
Right.
They're basically her tormentor through all of this too.
Yeah, she's the pledge.
Yeah,
and she's actually the only one that, well, she and one other are the only ones that look to be about the right age to be in college.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the other one's name. It's eluding me at the moment.
I don't even know that they say it in the movie.
I don't think they do, honestly. I would be hard-pressed. I've watched this movie 3 times now. I'm trying to remember. That's a bad sign for your character.
That is a bad sign.
But the lead character in all of it is Kottentail himself.
Yes. Yes, it is. And Kottentail is... The transformation, like we said, begins early in the movie with Spock ears and bug teeth.
Yeah, and for a movie that had at places some decent visual effects on the gore, the transformation sequence was comical. It's just...
Yeah, it was pretty funny because the first time he notices it is when he's getting ready in front of a mirror and he's like brushing his teeth and he's like, huh, these are different.
That's these, yeah.
These are different. And then he looks at his backside and he has grown a cottontail. Like, you didn't notice this before.
Yeah,
wasn't that itch coming out or something?
Yeah, you'd think that'd be kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But he but he turns into this blue-ish rabbit-human hybrid.
Like a werewolf transformation, but for like a were-rabbit.
Yeah, I guess you could. Except he doesn't change back at any point.
Right.
He just kind of goes one way with it, and he has this really loud screech. But it's unclear what actual superpowers he has other than the power of bunny.
Yeah, he can hop.
He can hop a great deal. He has the big teeth. He does use those.
He does use the big teeth.
He uses the claws.
And he's got claws.
Yes, he does. But other than that, it's completely unclear if he developed any supernatural powers at all.
Yeah, you would think that the ears would come into play.
You know, he'd be able to hear or smell things or whatever. And I guess his lack of supernatural ability is one of the reasons why the girls felt they could take him on without assistance. And like I said, that was one of the stupidest plans ever.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should wrap this one up. What do you say?
Yeah.
All right, it's time for good, bad, best, worst. This is how we end our reviews. Say something good, say something bad, find the best, find the worst, give it a star, get the hell out, and let you go back to surfing porn on the internet. All right, so say something good.
Something good.
Something good. This movie in general did a good job not taking itself too seriously, especially in the beginning. It sort of began to take itself a little more serious toward the middle and end. Not much.
But as it crescendoed up, it made sense within the movie for it to do that.
Yeah. But when you start out with one of your opening shots literally being a stuffed rabbit in a cage, it's downhill from there. They took themselves seriously. They knew they were opening themselves up for a lot of spoofing and a lot of ripping. And so they went with it and they used it to their advantage.
Yeah, they did. And they did a good job with it. Overall, the acting in it was not terrible.
Overall, there were.
We're gonna get to the worst.
Yeah, I'm coming back to you on that one. I might hold you to those words later.
I said overall.
Okay.
But I mean, for the material they had to work with, overall, it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and which brings us to the bad. It was not a very well written movie. Let's not kid ourselves.
No, I mean, it was pretty much, Kottentail appears, he kills people, girls chase.
And that was one of the frustrating things, is in like these garbage horror movies, there was not a lot of gore in this movie. Kottentail did not kill most of his victims on camera even.
No. Most of the time we saw the aftermath, and which included props from like you can buy a spirit and fright catalog.
In our haunted house, we actually own some of the same severed feet they used in this movie.
Yeah,
and we got them for like $3, half off.
Like this stuff.
Yeah, this is actually in the movie. Actually,
it's in the Easter scene. Yes, it does take place at Easter.
Yes, it does. Obviously. So yeah, that type of stuff is actually in the movie. We're using it here as an homage to cheesy effects, but they actually put it in the movie. Yeah. So that was one thing. But I didn't like the way it was structured. It was structured like a whodunit type thing, but we knew who did it from moment one. Because we spend most of this movie waiting for these 5 women to catch up with us.
Right.
And then when they do, when they concoct this plan, it's like, what?
So is that your bad part?
Yeah, that's the bad. We moved into the bad.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we moved into the bad quite successfully, actually. Okay, so that's the bad. Best.
The best, go ahead with yours.
I think... Well, Crystal figures out her best. I'm going to go out and just say my favorite was Lizzie, the prostitute character. I loved this character more than anyone else in the movie, for certain. Of the 5 women, she was the one that seemed to be the deepest.
Right, she was the most well-rounded, definitely.
Most well-rounded character.
Especially by the end, because whenever she starts out, she's very ditzy and very shallow, but by the end of it, she's a very complete character.
That's one of the things, the harder they tried to pigeonhole her as just a prostitute, as just a hooker, the more she seemed to defy it, and she was battling wits with the other women and winning routinely. She was a very fun character. She's a very fun-loving, free-spirited character. Really, the actress playing her, really enjoyed the role, had a good time with it, and really every scene with her in it, I really just enjoyed and had a good time watching. Is that going to be your best too? Are you going to run with that?
That was actually my best.
You're going to run with that?
Yeah.
We know what's coming with the worst.
Yeah, we've agreed on the worst.
And do you want to take it or do you want me? I mean, I'll leave it.
The fiance.
Brad. Marissa.
I'm glad you knew his name.
Brad. Oh, it left an impression. Brad is the fiance. I thought it was just boyfriend, actually.
Well, he goes to propose, but he's killed.
Fiance
so he's
to be. Okay, fiance to be. We'll leave it that way. But Brad is his name. Is Marissa's love interest.
Yes.
And he gets killed, as I mentioned that Marissa's the grieving widow type, and he gets killed fairly early in the movie.
Yeah, but he only has 2 scenes.
2.5. Technically. One the second scene's split in 2 parts, but 2.5 scenes. But they are the most torturous, especially the scene right before he dies.
That's really, that is a really bad one. But the first time we see him on camera, he flubs his line. Yeah,
and they don't bother doing a retake.
No, they don't do a retake.
No, but that's the best. Well, that's the best we're getting from him, type thing. You can tell they
that might have been a retake. It's the sad part.
That's the sad part. You're probably right. Yeah.
Sorry, Brad.
Sorry, Brad. But no, Marissa was no Shakespearean actress.
No,
she wasn't great. But Brad was torturous, and this didn't help. They were feeding him this really cheesy, really hammy, sweet talk lines that just didn't make any sense in any context.
No, they they didn't make any sense, and they were really over the top.
They were terrible lines, and I mean, they were so over the top. Even get like Patrick Stewart or someone with all the acting training in the world.
Unless you're like a 12-year-old girl, you're not gonna fall for these.
Those cheesy lines. And long story short, the whole scene is just excruciating. And when he dies, I actually am glad. It's not that I hated Brad. It's just okay, good. They're putting that actor out of his misery and getting him out of this movie because he's obviously not comfortable in front of the camera. And everyone else, I think, was at least comfortable. At least kind of knew what to do, how to read lines. I mean, there were some parts in it that were obviously cue card-esque, but everyone else, at least, it wasn't torture to watch them because they didn't feel like they were suffering in front of the camera. Brad, you felt for the guy.
Yeah, you did.
You felt for the dude because it was like someone free that actor from. Oh, good, they killed him. We can move on from this. Thank God it was early in the movie too. So, out of 5 stars, what do you give it? Wrap it up. Come on.
I'd probably give it 3.5.
I'm giving it a 3. I thought there were parts of it that I thought were good, and there were parts of it I thought were bad. In the end, I think it all kind of averages out. It's a decidedly mediocre garbage horror, which is a great way to begin a decidedly mediocre review series.
Mm-hmm. This is
so
true.
There you go. 3.5 from us. Kottentail is available on DVD. Amazon actually has it pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. Pick it up. It shouldn't be that much anywhere you go and get it from. If you pay more than $5 or $6, you got ripped off. But yes, Kottentail on DVD. Check it out if you're interested. Well, on that note, once again, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And that was Garbage Horror.
Yes.